Have you ever had a successful one-sided conversation? Me neither. That is why today I'd like to talk to you about Chapter 31, Science and Mathematics Topics, and Chapter 32, How to Give Presentations on Technical Courses. So Chapter 31 encompasses science and mathematics presentations, whose whole purpose is to inform the audience, prepare effective presentations, present research in an understandable and digestible fashion, and how to speak in college courses, and how to present field studies, studies done out in the field when you're reporting in. Informing the audience. To inform the audience on science topics, it usually takes a little bit of finesse. Science topics like the earth or natural sciences have lots of technical jargon associated with them. You need to make it a little bit more accessible for your audience in order for them to connect and to understand what you're saying and to not bore them to tears. You need to communicate to the various levels of knowledge that you be presenting to. Not everyone will possess the same skill set or knowledge base that you, the speaker, do. And most importantly, it does not need to be boring. You can still use plenty of speaking tips and tricks to keep it interesting. To prepare effective science and mathematics presentations, you need to use observations, proofs, and experiment data to explain your results in a clear and concise fashion. You need to select details that carefully illustrate your topic and filter out any unnecessary information. Using analogies to allow the audience to connect and using visual aids are a couple of ways to make sure the audience gets an understanding of the full scope of what you're trying to say. Presenting research actually comes with a few steps in Chapter 31. The steps of a proper research presentation are as follows: the introduction, the description of your methods, the summary of your results, and the conclusion to be drawn from your experiment. Again, using the speaking tips provided in Chapter 31, you can explain this through analogies, metaphors, and of course the use of clever visual aids. Speaking to other college courses or speaking for other college courses, you need to identify the conditions, offer detailed descriptions, and illustrate the benefits and shortcomings of your findings in order to better validate your results. For presenting field study presentations according to Chapter 31, the steps are as follows. You need an overview and scope of your research, explaining how all-encompassing your topic is and explaining what it is in regards to. Describing the area your research topic took place in, your data collection methods, and your interpretation of that data. Finally, including a future area of studies reference will allow the audience to see what your research can be applied to for future study. Moving on to Chapter 32, technical courses. Technical courses are for focusing on the design of a product or system, like an invention or sometimes how a web application works. Giving effective technical presentations requires some of the same tips and tricks as science and mathematics presentations, but you have to make sure you can break down a schematic or an idea in a digestible fashion. And I'll show you how to avoid some presentation pitfalls that a lot of technical courses seem to fall into these days. When focusing on the design of a product or system, you need to explain how the system works in as few words as possible. That doesn't mean leave out information, it just means use as few words as possible. Use relatable terms, kind of like a good science or mathematics presentation. Effective technical presentations are both informative and persuasive. These are the types of presentations that would be given to bosses, peers, or even clients. Trying to pitch a new idea needs to have the same elements as persuasive speeches in order to sell that person on an idea, because effective technical presentations sell ideas. Some of the pitfalls of technical presentations: trying to cram a little bit too much info on one of your visual aids, not enough prep work going into how you're going to explain the topic, so it ends up becoming a little more complicated than necessary, and failing to connect a topic to fit the audience. In conclusion, If you follow these steps, technical presentations can be just as easy and entertaining as any of our other speeches.